Margaret's Social Security check is $1,540 a month. Her rent is $910. Sit with those two numbers for a second, because everything in this story lives in the gap between them. This isn't a story about someone who was reckless. Margaret saved. She retired with $40,000 in the bank. She did the things you're supposed to do in the order you're supposed to do them. But the first month, the rent took more than half the check. The math quietly stopped being about discipline, and it started being about a system that was never really built to hold someone in her spot. This is what $40,000 actually looks like after work ends. Not the plan on paper. The Tuesday afternoon at the kitchen table, with a calculator and a stack of envelopes. First, the question people ask with one eyebrow already raised. How does a careful woman reach 63 with only $40,000? The honest answer isn't dramatic. It's just life. Arriving in the usual order. Margaret had a retirement account once. A decent one. Then, a divorce at 51 cut it roughly in half, and the legal fees took a bite out of what was left. She spent most of her 50s helping her son through 2 hard years, and helping her mother through her last ones. Somebody had to, so she did. None of those were bad decisions. They were expensive ones. And there's a difference the budgeting videos almost never mention. So when people say she should have saved more, they're answering a different question than the one her life actually asked. Here's where it gets specific. Because in retirement, the danger usually isn't one big disaster. It's the quiet math of an ordinary month. Start with the check. $1,540. Take out the rent. $910. That leaves $630 for everything else. The entire rest of a life for a month. So let's actually spend it the way she does. Electricity, about $95, down to $535. Prescriptions, about $120. $415. Groceries, careful groceries, about $280. That leaves $135. Phone, $45. $90 left. $90. For gas? For a birthday card? For the copay? For the thing that breaks? For the coffee she now thinks about before buying? $90, standing between her and the edge of the month. Notice something. There's no yacht in this math. No lottery ticket, no bad habit, no villain. Just a check, a rent, and the ordinary weight of staying alive. The gap was never her willpower. The gap was the design. And if that math looked familiar, this is probably the right channel for you. Joy Per Dollar tells honest retirement money stories. No yachts, no panic, no tax tricks. Just real bills and quiet math. The parts most finance channels skip. If that's what you've been looking for, subscribe and turn on notifications, because these stories don't get told out loud very often. Now, back to that $90. For a while, $90 held. Tight, but it held. Then one Tuesday, her car needed a repair. $312. Not a catastrophe, a completely ordinary Tuesday-sized problem. But there's no $312 in a $90 month. So it went on a credit card at a little over 20%. And that's the trap door. Because now next month isn't $630 of breathing room. It's $630 minus a minimum payment that mostly feeds interest. This is how it actually happens. Not one big mistake. One ordinary bill landing in a month with no slack in it. The system doesn't break people with disasters. It breaks them with Tuesdays. So what did she do? Not something heroic, something quiet. She didn't out-discipline the math, because you can't. $90 of willpower is still $90. What she did was change the numbers the math was built on. The biggest lever was the only big number she had, the rent. She moved to a smaller place, a little further out, near her sister. $910 became $680. That one move put $230 back into every single month for the rest of her life. No amount of skipped coffee ever comes close to that. Then she picked up part-time work, 20 hours a week at a garden center. Not a career, not a comeback, just enough to turn that $90 edge into something with a little room in it, and to rebuild the buffer the car repair had eaten, $100 at a time. None of this was a rescue. She'd tell you that herself. It was just moving the walls of the box she'd been put in, until she could stand up straight inside it. Let's be honest about what this life actually feels like. Because a plan you can't picture is a plan you won't believe. Some months still win. February, with the heating bill, sometimes takes the $90 and then some. Summer usually gives it back. She keeps a jar on the counter for the small things she still wants, and it fills slowly. She would rather have $400,000. Of course she would. Anyone would. This isn't a story where the math turns out fine and everyone smiles. The rent still takes what it takes. But the panic is gone. The kitchen table afternoon that used to feel like a countdown now just feels like arithmetic. Hard arithmetic, but arithmetic she can do. Here's the part I want to leave you with. Margaret didn't fail at retirement because she was weak with money. She was careful with money for 40 years. She failed the plan because the plan quietly assumed a check that could cover the rent and still leave a life underneath it. And for a lot of people, after work ends, it just doesn't. The problem was never her discipline. By the time the rent took half the check, the math was already losing. She just found a way to keep standing in what was left. So here's my question, and I read every answer. If your check had to cover the rent first before anything else, what would be left? Run your own quiet math down in the comments. Not to scare yourself, just to see the real number. Before it's a Tuesday and a car repair and a card at 20%. Because the number was never really about willpower. It was about how little room the system leaves once the rent gets paid.